Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special YouTube only episode of the Three Warlocks podcast reacts or the Three Warlocks review a season. And that is a season of the Splicer, season 14, that Bungie just dropped a couple days ago. We are not going to have a podcast this week. We're going to be saving episode 30 for the following week. But what we're going to do today for you guys is we're going to be kind of recapping and going through the season 14 season of the Splicer and kind of giving you our thoughts, what we think so far. We've had a chance to play it a couple days. And so far, we can agree that this has been the season of the honeydew, season of the chicken, and season of the sidearm. So those are the thoughts.
Season of the down.
Season of the down. There you go. Well, like always, with me, I always have Snail and Ness, my other two warlocks. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
All right.
Good.
I've been enjoying Destiny 1.
Why are you enjoying Destiny 1? Tell everybody, Snail, why are you enjoying it?
Because Destiny 2 isn't working.
Destiny 2 is currently down. I believe they're trying to fix a few things. I kind of went online and did some research. When you're cashing in Umbral Ingrams, apparently it's taking all of your data thing, whatever it's called, in order for you to cash them in the, so it's taking all of it. And it's getting a little bit upsetting to people. So Bungie had to do an emergency shutdown and do a couple little fixes, which, I mean, I don't think they tackled all the things they need to worry about. There's some problems going on in the PvP community. There's some problems going on in the PvE community as well. Certain things that should be pinnacle, certain things that are not pinnacle. We're going to be talking about that right now. But you know what? Before we get kind of going in through all of these things, I kind of want to give people a little recap of what season 14 is about. And with the magic of this crazy computer that I have, I'm able to share my screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So we're going to come over here.
Have you paid the mice to run in the wheel to make it work?
I know. Well, here's an example for you guys. This is a season of the Splicer, and it dropped, like we talked about a couple days ago, May 11th, and it's going to go all the way through May 24th. It was a nice little game trailer that dropped. We loved it. We enjoyed it. I believe some of the vibes we were getting was, what do you think, Snail? It was very Tron-like. Is that safe to say? Very
Tron-like, and it goes through to August the 24th, not May the 24th. Otherwise, it'd be very short.
August 24th. Yeah, I'm sorry. May 24th. Yeah. August, May, same thing. It's my birthday month. I'm excited.
You're still feeling drugged from your teeth.
I know, I am. One of the reasons why we are kind of doing this episode is I'm going to be going on holiday, and my birthday was a couple days ago, and I decided to celebrate my birthday by getting some dental work done, and that's not a very good way to celebrate your birthday. Oh man, one of our clanmates described this. Rob, he said that the Vex love the 80s, and that is so true. Has like a little 80s vibe. The music is getting pretty crazy, but the story behind this, as soon as we landed into the tower, it was dark. It was completely dark. So it was an endless night. The Vex have plunged the last city into endless night, threatening the safety once found beneath the watchful presence of the traveler. It is here, bathed in perpetual moonlight, that Ikora reveals the identity of the unlike ally that may hold the key to our triumphant over this attack. Wasn't it awesome getting a chance to see Ikora one more time? I mean, we've kind of missed her. Her badass self is back at it again, and with the help of Osiris, we're trying to figure this whole thing out. And we have a new little friend that's joining us. We haven't seen him in a while. Can you guys tell me who this person is right here?
Mithrax.
Yep.
Mithrax.
Mithrax has a very good and special ability. What is that, Snail? Which I didn't realize that his arm is like a little Vex arm until I saw the actual.
Well, he's got a magic integrated Vex arm to open Vex portals into the network. His daughter's very interesting. If you read the little bits of, or hear the little bits of lore in their new little home next to the old boss, Biguzia.
Yeah, we went to that special area. Some of the things we're going to bring out right now, guys, is mostly spoiler alerts. If you guys haven't had a chance to play the season, we feel kind of bad. If you guys want to go out there and play the first couple missions, then come back and watch this episode. You're more than welcome to. But we meet up with him in the mission. You know, we try to save some of the elixir that he's trying to protect. And we get transported to a very I was really excited when we got transported to this area. It was where we fought in a raid. We fought that giant little tank. I keep forgetting his name, but we got
Georgia
transported.
Cal.
Yes, thank you. We got transported to that area, and man, it brought back some memories, some vibes of Snail screaming at us, "Hit his back! Hit his back!"
Don't die wrong.
Don't die
He's
wrong.
dead.
Yeah, it brought back some memories, but very interesting that we got to see somebody in there that we haven't seen in a long time. It's actually one of the faction leaders. We got a chance to see her. It was really good to hear her voice, and it seems like she's a part of this story as well. I believe she's trying to help out this people with the help of Mithrax. So it's going to be interesting how the story develops.
Yeah, interesting that it was Future War Cult and Ada's come back at the same time, because Ada went to work with Future War Cult to do a mission to protect the last city. So it's interesting they came back at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it could kind of, those storylines will probably intertwine as the season continues. Who knows? Mithrax, the Kel of the House of Light. So he leads a small group of Elixni who wish to be closer to the Traveler. As a sacred splicer, he possesses the knowledge needed to combat the Vex technology that ensnares the last city. There is a bond of light shared here, but will it be enough? That's one of the questions that we're going to try to answer this entire season. So with our help and with his help as well, we're trying to figure out and trying to get a hold or a sense of what the Vex are doing, what they're trying to do, and how we can stop them, which is very, very interesting. The helm, we talked about this last week when we were doing the episode. The helm got a little upgrade. We got a chance to go there. This Vex is almost like a vendor. You go in there, you can get some mods. You're able to upgrade, similar to the hammer, approving the hammer.
Yeah.
You're able to upgrade it and get more things, so we can go at. So you can go on and unlock more of the features that this thing helps you. And these things, by unlocking certain things from this, what do you call it? Not a Vex. This servitor, yes, very servitor. You go into the overdrive missions, which this is the new 6-man match made activity we've been playing. Any thoughts on that so far, guys? How do you guys like that?
There's a stay safe health and safety issue around the servitor. There's lots of welding going on, which has happened for the past 48 hours. No one's wearing goggles, which is probably why no one's actually working, because everybody's blind by the welding.
That's right.
It's a bit of an issue.
When you guys get a chance and you guys go to the helm, please go visit this servitor and you'll see the work that Snail was talking about. There's clearly a human and an Elixni, I guess, working together. And both of them were welding without any proper goggles, like Snail was saying. And there's somebody who doesn't have any safety harness. I believe he's welding sideways. So it gets a little bit.
Everybody's got iPads. Is it the season of the iPad?
I have no idea. It's pretty intense. But let me get you guys' thoughts on the overdrive mission. Ness, did you get a chance to play that with us the other night?
I did. It was really fun. It's nice to have another activity where you can actually play with another 5 people. So it was my first time going through it. Of course, I think most of our clan has already gone through it 3 million times. They helped me get flawless, which apparently is a triumph. It was fun. It was similar to remember that thing that was on IO where you had to get the modes, put them in
tower.
Yeah, I believe so. So you had to get the modes, you put them in, you would get heavy, and basically you just keep on doing that until it leveled up. And then I just saw Snail like jumping up on some stuff, and people were saying, shoot this. And I didn't know what they were talking about. So I just shot everything. But yeah, it was actually a really good time. And then you get into this whole portal thing. It does have a strong Tron vibe to it. It really does. But it also reminds me of the Prophecy. It's got like the colors going on. It's really pretty. It was very interesting to be in the Scourge of the Past. That was really cool. And the Elixni, I cannot say that word.
Elixni?
All the babies, they were all over the place. Like, why are you breeding in a war? So whatever, but yeah, super cute. You guys did lie to me. You guys did not all have a baby as an artifact. So that was disappointing. Thanks. Yeah.
Funny story about the flawless thing, because the first time we did it, at the very end, I think it was Rob who said, "What if there's a flawless achievement?" And I went, "There is, because I've just got it." And he went, "Of course you did." That was the end of that.
Show off.
Yeah, this is a very neat and unique 6-man activity. I guess what you have to do is you have to deposit motes in the center area. Certain amount of motes gets you to go into the next phases. I believe there's 3 phases. Then you're able to hack into this system, which that's what we tell Snail to go jump to the very top, and you're able to hack it at different levels, and it opens up the portal. And right there, you pretty much go underground to like an area that looks pretty much almost like this right here. It's like very Vexy 80-ish, lots of color,
Yeah.
and you're able to fight. I say like we've been saying turkeys, baby dragons.
They're baby dragons.
Well, it's a mama dragon. It's a mama dragon because it's probably one of the biggest mama dragons I've seen in my life.
Okay.
I think.
Oh,
It's a
I
Vex
guess
frame.
so.
Yep,
I
Vex
think
brain.
so.
So we're gonna
So
be
we're
getting.
destroying frames at the moment, aren't we? Which is destroying parts of the Vex network.
Yep. And then this is one of 3. I believe Snail and I were talking about this achievement or triumph you get. You have to defeat 3 different ones. So 3 different bosses in 3 different locations. We are going to get one in the moon, and we are going to get another one, I believe, is in the Tangled Shore as well.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Yeah, there's a little weekly mission that's going to be taking place. We haven't gotten to that area yet. It's going to be further along in the season, and we'll definitely bring it up to you guys in the podcast when we get a chance to get together again. So far so good, man. This is a really unique storyline. You know, it's a very unique 6-man activity. So far, I know we're only 2 days in. It's really difficult to kind of get a good judgment on it or a good review. But the only thing that I would like to say is I have some good things that I like, and I also have some things that I don't really understand or don't really care for. Love the 6-man activity personally. Love the story so far. We are going to be getting almost like a drip fed, feels like we are like a drip fed story almost every week, like we did before with the season of the Chosen. And that's going to develop, and we're going to get more and more into it. The weapons, honestly, have been amazing. I cannot say anything besides that. All the new weapons, the sidearms, the shotgun, the machine gun, grenade launchers, and some of the gear has been pretty interesting too. We got the first sense of transmog, very unique for the free stuff. Once we start running out of free stuff, it's going to be kind of challenging if you want to try to go get some new ones. It's only tied behind a paywall. I know there's a lot of people in the community that don't like that. Those are all the things I love so far. Everything's been awesome. The Crucible now, if you guys ever had a chance to punish yourself, like Snail says, and go play some Crucible, it's been pretty rough in there, but the new introduction menu is pretty unique. You can kind of cycle through and see people's KDs, how many kills they have, and very unique.
I don't want people to see that. I don't want people to see that I got like a 1.0.
See, that's very unique. I wish they would have done something like, let me see their stuff first. Let me see the team I'm going up against. I think that probably would have been a little bit better. You know, you can kind of be like, oh, okay,
Instead
let me.
of our own team.
Yeah, I was like, let me stay away from that guy or this player. So that would have been a little bit better. The one thing that
it also showed the primary weapon, the kinetic weapon, and it showed how many kills you had so far in the season, which I thought was interesting. So your KD is basically, a moving target with every one that we're, every match you're doing, which I thought that was pretty interesting. So you can be either a badass for a second and then really bad the next match.
And I believe Snail was bringing up that there's a positioning kind of tier there. So the person that shows up in the front is typically the person who's the highest level. I guess they talked about that in previous seasons, in previous TWABs, that they're putting the number 1 guy, number 2 guy, number 3 guy, number 4. So they're doing that whole matchmaking in Crucible. So you're able to see
That's why I'm at the back waving.
Yeah.
So I was last picked.
On our team, it was you, Don't Die Rob, me, and then I didn't look past that. Sorry. The Snail at the end, right?
Yeah.
I'm just teasing Snail. I don't know. I stopped at mine because I was curious to see what kind of information they were showing. But I would like to see the other team. You're right. That would be a little bit better information when you're getting into Crucible.
it's something similar to what we get for trials. I guess in trials, you kind of get to see the other team, what they have, what they wear.
Yeah.
That'll be kind of neat if you actually had that same options for that. Those
Mhm.
are the things that I like. The things that I dislike, which I'll let you guys know, you guys can give me the things that you dislike, is to me, I feel that leveling up is completely worthless
Mm.
to the point where going after pinnacles doesn't really matter because there's a 10 level cap. In this season, everybody is automatically, if you played previous seasons, you get to be 310 is a soft cap, then soft cap and then hard cap, I guess, goes through 1320. So it's only a 10 level gap. Some of the levels that require you to have high level, I guess, high level to participate or that will make a difference is typically trials and Iron Banner. Once we start getting into the Grandmaster Nightfalls, that's another avenue for it. But the artifact pretty much takes care of all that for us in the meantime, that you can pretty much take your sweet time trying to reach those 10 levels. If you were to specifically do it at a precise planning ways, you can do everything. I believe you can do everything in about a couple of weeks, maybe 3. If you have good RNG, and if some of the things are working or intended to give you pinnacle, give you pinnacle and stuff like that, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I believe within 3 to 4 weeks, you can probably reach that 1320, and then the artifact will just keep projecting you or pushing you further along. That's the only thing that I didn't really quite understand why Bungie went that way. I think they had something similar back in the Season of the Dawn and Season of the Undying. I believe it was something, you have to go back that far to kind of figure that out. But it seems that back then there was no trials yet. Season of the Dawn brought it up, but Iron Banner seemed a little bit, fair or across the board. It was okay. If you were under level, it sucked. If you were over leveled, then you were good. But this time, Bungie is making it really, really accessible for everybody to kind of jump in and participate. And that to me seems like a little bit of the part of me says cool, more players, and then part of me says, hey, that's a bit unfair. What about the people who have played this game since day one?
Yeah.
Since all the seasons and since ever, it just feels like something's lacking. In my opinion, I don't know if I'm expressing myself correctly. Snail, do you have a thought on that?
I know what you're saying. This is all to do with FOMO and this grind that we're trying to take out of the game. So I get a 10 level increase. It makes sense. And actually, I'm looking at it differently. So usually I'd be grinding out those 40, 50 levels where it might be. But only having 10 means I can just focus on getting the right weapons. The weapons being quite good. So focusing on rolls. The pinnacles seem to be 1 or 2. So yeah, you could probably do, if you've got all 3 characters, you could probably do it quicker than you were probably saying if you've got 3 characters running through and doing all the pinnacles. Yeah, I quite like that because then I'm just focusing on doing the little bits and bobs, not worrying about light level.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Ness? How do you feel about the 10 level gap?
Honestly, I don't feel it. I thought that going into the 6-man player thing, that because everybody else was ahead of me, that because right now I'm at 1310, so I thought that I was actually going to be dying a lot, that I was I was going to be weak, but in actuality it was the opposite. It didn't really affect me at all. So I think you're right as far as trying to grind out for that extra 10. It's probably not as necessary unless you're going to be playing like Banner or something like that. And like you said, the artifact will come and play with that as far as regular play, not so much Banner, but as far as regular play. But yeah, I don't see that much need of a grind. But I feel like Bungie always does this where right now they're offering the game for free. On top of it, they're probably trying to get new players. Right now, they're competing with Mass Effect coming out the first 3 games, which were one of the best 3. They're also competing with, I think Halo is also kind of coming out with.
It's slated to come out this year.
Yeah, and they're talking about Titanfall 3, which if you know me, Titanfall is just it's my baby. I love that game. So they're trying to get all these new casual players. So they have to make it easier in a way. I just right now I don't feel it, to be honest with you. It seems like the norm. Like basically last season where I was at the end is basically where I'm at now, and it has no effect on my gameplay.
I got
except for Crucible.
Yeah.
But I haven't really done a lot of Crucible.
No, I got that's a good point you brought up, Ness. I have a little quick question for Snail, see how he feels about this. Snail, what do you think is harder? And this is kind of like a three-way question. What do you think is harder? The Proving Grounds missions, or the Proving Grounds that we had last season, or this 6-man activity, this override? What do you think was more challenging for you?
They're both challenging different ways. So I quite like the enemy density and Proving Grounds. It was quite an interesting mode. So yeah, I quite like the enemy bit and just having good fun killing lots of things. But that got repetitive and boring quite quickly, because it was quite a long journey to get to the boss and do the boss bit, and then it was time gated. And I hate time gated stuff. I want to get it done and out of there.
Yeah.
Whereas the new mission still has that time gated bit, but I quite like the jumpingness of the puzzles in between. And actually, it's a break between killing enemies and then having a bit of a jumping bit. I quite like the flow, and it's over and done with in a shorter time, it feels. So you can do most runs within 10 minutes. And with 6 people, just makes it a whole lot better.
Yeah. It's like it's not a tedious kind of grind, but at the same time, there's enough differences and enough of a challenge where you're not bored. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, because when we're talking about like a 6-man activity, the last one we had that was kind of worthwhile or was fun was Menagerie. But if you can go back in time during that time too, was the sundials. And I do believe the sundials felt like a mission, man. They were extremely hard because of the power level. They were for a 6-man activity, that was hard. Like Snail brought up, the Proving Grounds was, so both are kind of equal. One has 6-man, Proving Grounds only had 3, so it felt a little bit longer than usual. So you were kind of like, shooting more bullets, or taking out more tanker units. With 6-man, you can literally not kill a single person on this override mission and still get all of the achievements and all this stuff you can, because there's so much stuff going on, and your other teammates can carry you through the whole thing. Once you guys get teleported into this Vex gate, you can literally sit at the very bottom and wait for your teammates to pull you to the end. You don't even have to engage the final boss, and you will still beat it. So I felt like that's a little bit too easy-ish in a sense, but I can understand why Bungie is doing that, bringing up a 6-man activity for new people, new players, to make it easier. Hopefully, the next ones coming out will be a little bit more challenging. In a sense, I'm not really talking about like super hard, like Grandmaster hard, but something a little bit different, something a little bit, difficult in a sense, to make it like sweat, like, oh man, I almost died. I think I never at one point I felt like, oh my God, I almost died, or I felt like either I messed up and died, or I just killed every single person known to man. That's the only thing. That's my only take.
Didn't Sundial have a heroic version? They had 2 versions of it to get a better weapons.
I believe it did. And
so I wonder if this will have something similar.
I think it should, honestly, to tell the truth. I think it should. I think Bungie should go back and review this. Obviously, once the new ones come out, see what people think of it so far. I think they should have a little bit harder mission and tied some harder weapons. Maybe, is it hard to even bring out that maybe some of these new weapons that we have, the sidearm, the shotgun, the machine gun, the names escape me, but would it be hard for them to put adept versions maybe in the future and make it heroic? Who's to say not? Who's to say why not? That'd be kind of something different, something neat. That's pretty much my points on that. I would like to get your guys' points of what you guys really like and what you guys dislike. So who would like to go first?
I'll go first because it's short, because I haven't played as much as Snail has.
No problem. What do you like so far of the season? A couple of days going in. Yes.
So far, I do like the transmog. So far, but mind you, I haven't done any of them yet. So I haven't seen all the free stuff that you were talking about to get the transmog. I know that a couple of people were telling me that it's once you see how expensive it is, you won't like it anymore, which probably will be correct. But I love the shader system of putting it all on one, one shot. Like that's great. And you can actually see what everything's going to look like. It's all one screen. You don't have to go to collections for it. Like I like that. As far as the PvP though, one of the things Godzilla was bringing up was that stasis is completely broken, and we kind of saw that when we were playing. What were we playing? What the hell were we playing? Were we just playing regular Crucible?
Regular Crucible, yeah, control.
It almost seems like you have to have stasis. It feels like if you're not using stasis, you're just playing to die. So that's one of the things he brought up, where if you're wanting to get in there and you're wanting to use void or anything like that for any bounties, it almost seems like it's just a lost game. So I feel like there's more of a focus on stasis. Other than that, I mean, it seems like the PvE, and he agreed also that it's actually pretty cool. I mean, I love the new, and that's one of the things that Destiny does very well is their artwork. The maps, even though they kind of have that 80s vibe, it's still pretty cool. And another thing that they've always been successful with is the music. I love the music. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but the violin thing, I love that whole thing. But yeah, so far I don't have a lot of input because I haven't played it as much, but I'm hopeful anyway. Snail, what do you think?
So yeah, I'm quite hopeful for Destiny and Bungie at the moment, because I'm really enjoying the season. I've got a couple of gripes which I'll cover in a second, but the main, I love what I'm seeing. The weapons look really good. There's some really good roles, some interesting roles to grind for. The 6-man activity is really fun, nice getting people all together, and we've had some great fun as a clan doing that. Story is out of the park again. There's a real mic drop moment at the very start, which we'll probably cover in a little bit. I'm quite liking everything they've put together. The only gripes I would say is the amount of grind just to get additional things to do transmog. That grind is huge. Unless you want to pay for it and skip that grind. I was expecting the mission to be shorter, but it is quite grindy to get those additional bits.
It's a long quest.
And my biggest gripe currently is I've unlocked the tier 3 gear for high rank armor, which is quite expensive to buy a tier 3 engram and then get your high stat armor. To find my high stat armor drops at 57. That's not high stat. High stat is over 60, and I'm not going to do anything with the 57. It's pointless. So they need to understand what high stat means, and it's 10 levels different to what I would call a high stat, in all honesty. And I've got 67 stuff, so why would I get something that's 57 just so it looks nice? And when we lock things behind stuff that you have to use a seasonal armor, that bugs me, because I have to use stuff that's inferior to what I'm using just to do something, which irritates the hell out of me. But they're small little bugs, and what I see is a really good season with brilliant story, brilliant artwork, brilliant music. I'm loving the weapons and the different roles, and the machine gun heavy is different world. Brilliant addition. Getting the sword back, class swords were needed to come back because they're specific to characters. Should never have sent them in the first place. I'm not overly keen on what we're seeing with PvP and stasis, and I'll probably avoid PvP to some degree. But Bungie's launched the Beyond Light with stasis. It's the selling tool for Beyond Light. It has to stay in the game. We can't get rid of it. And if we look back at things that happened in the past, there were broken subclasses before. I remember when Void Walker was an issue.
Yep.
It's now not an issue because we nerfed it into the ground. Now no one uses it really. I know you used it at the night just for the.
I know
the
people
fun.
were surprised too. They were like, "Oh my god, what are you doing?"
But that's what happens. And I'm not going to complain about it because in PvE, stasis is brilliant fun. And this game is probably at the moment now 90% PvE, 10% PvP.
Yes.
For the amount of players playing, I would have said. So yeah, I'm loving what I see.
That's good. I mean, like I said, we're only about three days into the season, right? Fair to say, this is just our first impression so far. The season brought up a new exotic sidearm, which I think Snail's had a chance to play it. I've used it a couple times. Very unique. You know, you get kills with it. You reload. This little thing in the center starts spinning. Kind of, then you know, if you press and hold the trigger, it fires a shot that freezes an opponent. So it's like a stasis gun. The gauntlet, Splicer gauntlet, that's our new what do you call it? That's
like
our
hammer
new
charge.
Yeah. This is the thing where we put our hammer. It's almost like it's hammers. Yeah, you put your charges in, and then you're able to upgrade it, or you're able to get things to you can upgrade your servitor, I guess, in a sense. Pretty unique. And then we have the artifact. Artifact's very unique this year, or this season, excuse me, which we have weapons that we used to have in the past, champion mod weapons that we can use. And I believe one of them you were not really excited about, but yet you found out you were excited about later on, and Jay got mad at you. Yeah, now you have some rocket mods. Is that what it was? Or what was it?
I know we've got a season for Witherhoard, I think, because the Unstoppable is for grenade launcher. Just fire Withered on the floor, and he's unstoppable for life.
And Jay was excited. Jay's like, "Oh, Snail's going to be excited about this." Then he brought it up to you, and you were like, "Oh, okay, I'll look at it when I get a chance." Then a couple hours go by, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, did you guys know this and this and this?" And Jay almost blew a spark plug, man.
The whole time.
Hey, let me play at my own pace. I don't want to rush ahead. I'm taking my time.
Yeah, here's a picture of some of the weapons that are out there. We're talking about that. Here's like the little breach grenade launcher is a kinetic weapon. We have a kinetic sidearm. We have the energy pulse rifle, I believe. This is the one that drops from. This is the kinetic pulse rifle, right? Okay. And then the I mean, not a kinetic pulse rifle, but an energy pulse rifle. And I believe this is an energy machine gun. I think Ness got it the other day too.
A replacement void one.
Yeah. So kind of cool things are popping out there. So yeah, a lot of stuff to see, a lot of stuff to go through in this season. Very unique. We're actually looking forward to it. Other than that, I think that's pretty much gives you a little rundown on what's going on. We are filming this on a Thursday. We normally do our podcast on a Friday, and then right before we got in here, Bungie dropped their TWAB.
Yeah, I know.
We're just talking about it. Nothing really crazy going on. I believe next week is going to be Iron Banner. Some of the weapons that you're able to get: the sniper rifle, machine gun, the hand cannon, shotgun. Ness should be excited about this. You're able to buy the little plush Lixney babies now. So there's the links.
I might get a baby. I'm just saying.
There's a couple things that we got that new hotfix that dropped. Some of the armor synthesis are having some issues, or some things are going out there. We'll discuss them later on the next episode. I'm pretty sure it's all going to be there. But some of the known issues, and the first couple of them in here was really interesting. I'm going to read through some of them so you can kind of get an idea. We were surprised. A lot of us were surprised that the Presage mission didn't give any pinnacle as intended. So this is as intended. So this is going to have a pinnacle drop. The other thing is that Deepstone Crypt no longer awards pinnacle gear, but it lists that it does. So as far as I know, the raid is no longer going to give you pinnacle gear. Is that safe to say? Correct. So
yes, because the raid that is going to give us pinnacle gear is VOG, but it's not released yet.
Not released yet. I believe it's dropping this upcoming Saturday, next Saturday.
Yeah.
So yeah, next Saturday. So yeah, I mean, a couple other things are going on. The Titan Guardian games contender chess piece does not appear in the preview and appearance in the customization screen. Guardian Games crown holograms may remain on players' heads after the conclusion of the event. I believe Peak had his on still because he was a hunter. They won one of those days. I saw it. Various Guardian Games quests and bounties may remain in players' inventory. We saw that. Valor, Glory, and Infamy ranks may not gain progress as intended when completing matches in the respective playlists. Players cannot use Wish Ender's perk Queen's Wrath when poisoned. The join command is not functioning properly for players on Steam. The destination threader armor synthesis bounty incorrectly states to open blind well chest to progress the bounty. So this is wrong, and apparently they're going to try to fix it. So players must defeat blind well bosses to complete the bounty.
Are you reading known issues? Like, that's like my job.
I am. Are you there? Are you want to take over or what? I'm just gonna go into this.
I'm just saying that's like my job, sir. Okay. I'll take over from here.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, man.
There's 16 known issues right now.
Okay. I just named the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The first 8 of them. So start on the.
Dad, are you okay?
It's hilarious. A couple of these actually are current things that it's not even just for the season. It's like the Reverie Dawn armor set from Season of the Chosen is not showing available. Like there's a couple things from the old stuff that for some reason are glitching out. Players cannot use Wish Ender perk Queen's Wrath when poisoned. Destination Threader armor synthesis bounty incorrectly states to open blind well chest. So there's a couple things that this new season is actually kind of messing with. The special mission, delete that. The special finisher mod can be purchased multiple times from Ada. This is unintended as the multiple copies of the mod will not have an extra effect. So be mindful and just kind of check your mods to make sure you're not buying something extra that you already have, because they will charge you for it. Normally it actually has it grayed out and it says already owned. It's not doing that, so it's broken right now. The tutorial for creating an armament through the armor synth does not play if a Titan character is in the first character to reach the step. All right. So the tutorial will play upon reaching orbit on a second character. So you have to, so now they're saying you have to have a second character, because that's just not going to work for you. Interesting for people like, the casuals that, Snail hates, that only have one character. So they're going to have to do another thing. So Valor, Glory, and Infamy ranks may not gain progress as expected when completing matches. So be mindful if you're, especially people like, I believe Zilla and a couple other people were actually trying to get that legend. If you don't see that progressing, it's because it's broken right now. So maybe try after this is fixed. Otherwise, they're just going to be like frustrated. So the Battlegrounds activity will not progress the A Sacred Fusion quest. So there's a bunch more of the known issues from the previous season that still haven't been fixed. So you can go into known issues and see all the things. And season passes issues are also being, I guess a lot of people are actually having a hard time buying the season pass for season 14 too. So yeah, good luck with that.
Thank you,
right,
Ness.
Thank you, Vega.
Yeah, sorry. I apologize for taking over your known issues. I apologize. This was an impromptu little video that we're throwing for everybody, so we're not really super organized, but we're going for it, baby. That's how we do here, the Three Warlocks podcast. There's a couple issues here that they didn't bring up. A couple of things that I brought up to Snail. Why does it show that the Titans won the Guardian games? That's very unique.
Hilarious. That's a
very
burn on Hunters,
that's a
right?
slap on the Hunters. We all know the Hunters won the 2021 Guardian games, and
It's been fixed now.
Okay, it's been fixed.
Oh damn! I should have taken a picture.
What about the fact that whenever you go to the gunsmith, you're able to buy repeatable bounties, get nothing, but your money still gets sucked in, or your glimmer? I don't know if they fixed that. Yeah. That's still an issue, because I messed up and I just kept pushing it. Before I knew it, I went through 4 of them and I was like, oh, I think my glimmer's going down, but I'm not receiving any. Very, very disappointing. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is a very small TWAB. They're just kind of welcoming you into the season, kind of going through the things that we got. A couple of new faction weapons, which is very good surprise. I think Rob and I were pretty excited when we saw some faction weapons kind of bop into our Umbral engrams. So really cool. Future
That
wall
scout
clock.
is amazing, by the way.
Yeah, you were saying it's like the Eternal Blazon, similar to it.
Yeah, exactly the same set of solar.
Oh wow,
with some of the new roles, it is really good.
that's awesome.
Cool.
And then, like
I
Snail
can't
was bringing
forget-
up, the 3 different swords for the 3 different classes, which is really cool. They were missed, greatly missed. Yeah,
Oh, the Warlock one is a vortex frame, so it's like having the lovely spinny action that you previously had on
Fallen
nice,
Guillotine.
Fallen Guillotine. That's
Yeah.
now on the class sword. Very enjoyable. Solar.
Oh, it's solar. Oh, that's kind of cool. Very interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, next week, Iron Banner. We brought that up. Couple movies of the week. Check them out. Like I said, very small twab. They're just kind of getting you to kind of filling the crowd out, how they're enjoying the new season of the Splicer. We're gonna be bringing you some more information next week on that. I believe Snail brought up something here as we conclude our thoughts on this episode. Something that I didn't know. Snail says that there's an important thing or important vision you see or something you see at the first mission you get dropped on when you first log into the expansion or the season. So take it away, Snail. What's happening?
What is it?
So it's interesting because it was a real mic drop moment, and it's got everybody sort of talking. So at the end of the opening mission, you get to run away from the Vex network collapsing, and then you come to a dead end, and then you get pulled out. As you're getting pulled out, you get surrounded by hydras, and in the middle is a giant hydra. And the giant hydra is a taken hydra, which, looking at all the information, what we know about the season, apparently could be Courier, the blade transformed, which is quite an important event for various reasons. Firstly, this was Oryx's Hydra, for want of a better word, that was gifted to Savathun. So there's a direct link to Savathun. And more importantly, Courier is the reason why there's a curse on the Dreaming City. And the reason we go through a 3-week reverse of this curse and this loop. Also the reason why we repeat the Shattered Throne. And the death of Courier would mean that the curse would be lifted. So actually the Wish 15 is the death of Courier and lifting the curse on the Dreaming City. So interesting, we get a mic drop moment where we see Courier. Now, are we to assume that at the end of this season we will fight Courier? I don't know. It seems like it's such a big character to drop in and then kill too quickly. So I feel like this is a story that's going to build up to the end of the season, and next season we'll start to see that happen, and then into Witch Queen, where we see more of Savathun. But really interesting story twist that's quite impactful on the game, and tying up the end of Forsaken and the Dreaming City. It's a very important piece of information dropped by Bungie, unknown that was going to happen. So watch this space, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. Very unique, man. Very interesting. I know we've
Yeah.
had talks about in the past, or fears about the possibility of the Dreaming City being sunsetted.
Mhm.
But we can't do that because the final wish hasn't been found. There's an important storyline behind that. So, man, here's probably a wrench in the whole storyline. Here's something that could possibly happen. What you're thinking, Snail, your theory that if by defeating this Vex, maybe the Dreaming City could be sunsetted and we can move on to a different planet, different
Well,
world.
there's been various interviews with various people in Bungie that have said that they can't continue to keep Forsaken in the campaign because of the Crow story, and having Aldrin there is an issue to the whole story arc. So they've talked about removing Forsaken, which suggests that we're running a story which will end the Curse on the Dreaming City and finish that story in a good way, rather than just remove content. So it feels like we're going to tie up a story and bring an end to everything that's happened over the past couple of years, which is a good thing to do, I think. And it will take away, Last Wish on a Swan Song, Shat Throne, all those bits and bobs. But actually, if we're finishing a story loop, probably the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's actually good to know. But yeah, I mean, if they have to do certain things so they can further on the storyline or further tell their story that they want to tell, Bungie does a good job about doing that. But like you said, if they do things right, if they end the storyline or cut out the threads and that's ended, that's perfect. You did bring out about the Last Wish being a very memorable part of Forsaken, but we do have that Legends tab, which we didn't talk a whole lot about, which we got a chance to see it. And that's where old raids are going to be being brought back, or who knows, maybe one day in the future, distant future, we might see every single raid that we've ever done in D2 on the Legends tab. I mean, that's something we can hope for, something that could possibly happen. So that'd be kind of cool. Other than that, guys, any other thoughts you guys want to bring up before we call this episode a little end to it, a little special episode of our thoughts on the season?
I actually got a message from someone to share the code for the secret emblem. So if you watch the trailer, there was a little puzzle that a lot of people from Discord actually figured out. So the code is 7D4PKRMD7. So that'll actually give you a really cool emblem that'll probably cut off half of your clan name because it's really white at the end.
It is.
So we're doing Appa or something like that on ours. But check it out. Free emblem.
That's good.
Season of the Unreadable clan name.
Season of the Unreadable.
Season of the Sidearms.
Because it's not the only emblem that's released this season that does the same thing.
Same thing.
Season of the Honeydew.
Yeah. Season of the Chicken. Season of any other seasons now. Bring out seasons of the super fast machine guns.
Season of Courier.
Season of Courier. There you go. Well, thank you so much, guys. Thank you guys for joining us on this special episode. We will be back next week on a regular schedule podcast. No podcast this week. We do have this episode for you guys, but next week is going to be our 30th episode. Very exciting. 30th podcast episode. So something to look forward to. We are working on a list. We are working on getting some more guests in. I know how much you guys love having guests. So we are going to give you guys a little preview of that in the next couple episodes of the guests that we're thinking about bringing in and interviewing them, getting to know them and having them, express their thoughts on Destiny so far. A couple days into the season, we can only hope it's going to get better, which knowing Bungie, when it comes to storyline, it is. A couple little growing pains going on behind PvP stasis right now. Hopefully that gets taken care of too. Lots to look forward to. Well, guys, my name is Vega. My gamer tag is Vega6417. You can find me online and also on Twitch. Twitch is www.twitch.tv/TripleVega. Look me up on Twitter, and that's under Jasubius. And if you want to look up the Three Warlocks podcast Twitter, you guys can do that at Warlocks3. Ness?
All right. My name is Ness1 on Twitch and Xbox. And I also have a personal Instagram, AlexisV1. And I also run the Genuine Apathy Clan Instagram. So genuine_apathy. Please follow and like. Thank you.
I'm Willen Snail 2268, and I was in queue number 2268 the other night, which was quite entertaining.
Yes,
we did laugh about Season of the Queue. That's another season title for you. You can find me on Instagram on Willen Snail 1, on Twitch and YouTube, just Willen Snail, and on Twitter, just go with the Three Warlocks podcast one. Thank you very much.
Perfect, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. This was awesome, really fun. First ever, our impressions of the season. Hopefully in the future we'll get some more stuff out. We'll probably do something for the raid. Raid comes out a couple days, I believe, the 22nd or the 20th.
22nd.
Yes,
22nd.
So yeah, something to look forward to. So that's really, really exciting. And everybody who wished me those happy birthday wishes, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Only thing I can leave you with is do not, and I repeat, do not schedule any dental work on your birthday. It's not fun. I wouldn't recommend it. So I hope you guys learn from that. Eyes up, Guardians. And always remember, When in Rome, guys. We'll see you.
When in
next
Rome,
week.
the cats are amongst the pigeons.
The cats amongst the
You
pigeons.
can't change it.